Hey everybody, it's Michael from DC Hidden Gems, and I'm coming to you from our home in DC here for another Villa Vie Vibes. For those of you that haven't seen this before, this is a special episode that I generally do by myself. Chris is actually off in his office editing a video as is usual. But we wanted to kind of give you an update on all things that are going on with us here from our DC home. And so I'll start with the last time I talked with you, we talked about a big event that we were going to, and we have had that event. You may remember, but my niece actually asked me to officiate her wedding, which was such an honor. And we recently got back from that. It was an absolutely gorgeous event. And of course, I was very prepared for it. I got ordained and I prepared and made sure she was happy with the script along with her now new husband. But we had such a fun time preparing for it and got ready and got a new suit and all the kind of stuff you do for a wedding. And then preparing, we actually flew down to Atlanta and then we drove to Auburn, Alabama, which is where the wedding was held. We made it to Atlanta from DC on a direct flight with Delta, which was great. And now we're in the rental car and we're heading to Auburn. I graduated from Auburn 40 years ago and we're heading here today for the big wedding. And we're so excited. It's crazy. I haven't driven in a year because we don't drive much. And it's really interesting being in a car and driving all these old familiar roads that I drove many years ago. So we're looking forward to a great weekend. Now, Auburn's really important to me. Many of you may know Auburn. There's a university there called Auburn University, and I was the first in my family to graduate from Auburn, but several folks have graduated since, including my niece and her new husband. So it was such a cool experience going back to Auburn and showing Chris Auburn. Now, I got to tell you, so much has changed since I was there. I actually graduated 40 years ago. So you can imagine how much things had changed since I was there. But it was such a cool opportunity to go around and show Chris where I went to school, where I lived, my apartments. I actually lived in a trailer for a while that we went and saw. Where I worked at Sears. I worked at Sears in the mall, and we went by and saw that, although it's no longer a Sears, it's out of business. We kicked off the wedding with a rehearsal on Friday, and we had a beautiful rehearsal, and we got ready. I was nervous because I really wanted to do this well, and I prepared. I was so glad Chris was there to support me, and of course had all the support from friends and family. But it really was important for us to do this really well, and it turned out great. We had a subsequent rehearsal dinner at this beautiful venue, which was like this plant nursery that was also an event space. The bride and groom were honored with a lot of their friends and family with an open mic, and it was just such a special, sweet evening. We're at the rehearsal dinner. We just completed the rehearsal at this beautiful venue, and we loved it. So now we're celebrating before the big day, and we can't wait to share this with family tomorrow. My niece and her fiance are really excited about this, and the whole family's really rallying around them. It's a really special day, and it's a really great time to be here. And then, of course, the day of the wedding on Saturday, we were so excited. It was this gorgeous place where we had the rehearsal. And of course, we were going there on Saturday to have the wedding at 5 p.m. When we woke up on Saturday, it was raining. So we were a little put off by that because this is an outdoor wedding. There was a plan B, but fortunately, we did not have to deal with plan B because right before we had to get there, 3 o'clock or so for pictures and prep and all that kind of stuff, the thing just opened up to sunshine. So the day has finally arrived. We are here at the wedding venue, and we had the rehearsal yesterday, but today's the big day. And it rained this morning, but the sun has come out and we're about to go in. We're gonna have some pictures and stuff and get ready, and then we're actually gonna have the ceremony. So what a special day, what a great place to be, and we're so excited to have our time today with our family, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. We had the wedding at 5 o'clock, and it was absolutely gorgeous. One of the most loving and sweetest, the prettiest weddings that I've ever seen. And I was so honored to be first down the aisle and to marry these two wonderful people in front of all their loving friends and family. And it was just wonderful. And I was so glad Chris was there. We had such a great time. So it pulled off perfectly and it all worked out, thankfully. I got it officiated okay. Dear friends and family, and thank you for being here today. Auburn is much more than just a college town. It's a place rich in tradition, loyalty, love, and connection. In this special place, on this beautiful day, let us jet. And then that became a party. So we had this beautiful tent on the lawn and the party went late with a DJ and lots of great food and that kind of thing. The wedding's been over for a few hours. The party's still going. We're out here now in the dining room just taking a little bit of a break. But this has been such a sweet day. We have been planning this for almost 2 years. And it has been such a joy to get to do this and see all the love over the last few days. Being an officiant was something I'd never done before, and being able to have that point of view between my niece and her new husband was just so sweet. And I just loved it. And Chris has been here with me the whole time. You can't see him now, but he's filming now, and he's been getting all kind of great captures of this moment. So that is our big personal update. We're now back in DC for a little while, and we've loved being home. We have. We're going to see some friends again tonight, but it's been great entertaining here, going out, seeing the city, that kind of thing. We do miss Villa Vie, and so on that, I'll transition to the Villa Vie update. You know, there's been so much talk about Villa Vie for so long. We've done a lot of videos on it. Of course, there's a lot of history here. I won't go into all that today, but I got to tell you, one of the things that's been on the horizon and been talked about for months and months and months is that Villa Vie Odyssey is coming into the U.S. And once you come into the U.S., you got to make sure you have all your certifications and all your approvals and that kind of stuff, because they take that seriously. And the ones for the U.S. can be more difficult, more stringent than they may be other places. And so for a long time, there's been a lot of discussion on vlogs, in the media, the people on YouTube and many other places saying, oh man, I don't know if they're going to make it. A lot of rumors that this is not going to happen. They're never going to get in the US and that kind of thing. And, you know, let me tell you, there was a lot involved. There is so much that has to be done. And because Villa Vie Odyssey had to be kind of recertified as a new vessel, even though she's built in '93, because she was laid up for those years after COVID. There was a whole lot of stringent process to be done. So we had to get through Coast Guard approvals and certifications, and that is real. That's talking about everything from safety to the engines, to every little thing on the ship. I'm looking at all of these things here that's involved, and it's crazy. These are meticulous checks of everything on board in terms of how it's geared, how it does or doesn't meet compliance, what's on board that should be, what's not on board, and all of these regulations around safety, around compliance, around technology, around all of this kind of stuff. Well, they are really serious about it. So as we were coming into this U.S. port, we had to make sure this thing worked. And I'm telling you, I'm really excited to tell you that it happened. Green light from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the U.S. Coast Guard. This is not just a rubber stamp. There is a huge number of things that are going on. I'm looking at it right now. Everything from customs declarations, immigration status of everybody on board, making sure the vessel doesn't have prohibited items. They look at every crew and passenger. They look at the detailed paperwork. Anything that could have been out of whack could have caused delays. It's really important because this is about not only safety on board, but safety for the water, safety for the environment, and that kind of thing. They also had to look at every lifeboat, all the fire doors, all the materials on board to make sure they meet these specs about fire safety and that kind of stuff. The safety equipment. For a residential ship, too, that's a different animal than something that's coming and going on a regular basis and that is in normal ports. Of course, we're going around the world. So this getting done is huge. So we absolutely are so excited that this is done. I got to tell you, it's not an easy thing to have been done, and there could have been issues, and we may have more in the future. But I will tell you this passed Coast Guard and Border Protection, and that is a big deal because that is a stringent test. So we're so happy that the naysayers were wrong. We have obviously believe in Villa Vie very much, and we put our money where our mouth is. We put our life where our mouth is on this thing, and we couldn't be happier. We've always been pulling for Villa Vie. Obviously, we are advocates for Villa Vie, but we know too that things happen. They've already happened so far during this journey. So having this done is really an accomplishment, and we celebrate the captain, the crew, the staff, the owners, and the founders, and every resident on Villa Vie, and all the people out there who are pulling for us, and even those that haven't been. We got this done. We're thrilled. Now, the good news is with this being done, hopefully, although we've got some things coming up, we're past a huge hurdle. So now there's a lot of folks out there saying, wow, maybe this really is a legit thing. And we believe it absolutely is. There'll be other things coming along, but we look forward to getting those done. We look forward to sailing. And in terms of us, well, here in DC for a little while longer, but we'll actually be rejoining the ship here in about 10 days. And then we're going to be off for a journey a long time. We can't wait to get back on board the ship, celebrate with the captain, the crew, and everybody on board with the residents, and have some fun. We are super excited about where this itinerary is going. We'll get on in California, but then we'll go through Alaska. We'll go into lots of Japan and beyond. So stay tuned for that. But we really are excited to share with you that this is done. Villa Vie has entered and is welcomed into U.S. waters. And with that said, I'm going to end today's Villa Vie Vibes until next time. But thank you so much for coming. Subscribe, like, and we'll see you soon. For now, Villa Vie Vibes out.